Are we audible? I think yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. Right. So we are live again. Right. So yeah, that we can start with the session. Right. Okay. So we have Shubham with us. Right. Shubham has wrote CAT 2018, scored 99.88 percentile overall, and his sectionals was also the same, more or less. Right. Sectionals percentile.
Scores. Yeah.
Percentile, not score. I
Percentile,
mean,
yeah.
because score may differ accordingly
With the,
because the paper pattern has changed, right?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So the point is that how was your preparation, right, for the last? I mean, was it his first attempt?
That was my first and only attempt actually.
Okay.
So preparation in terms of, I did not do a very extensive preparation as such, uh, particularly because not because I wasn't very oriented to give it. I did not have the clarity as to what I wanted to do. So my preparation was more on the lower side. But having given that, I was pretty interested in puzzles and these kind of activities. uh, I was always in touch with that side of things. So I was always very active in terms of objective questions. Even the mobile games that we are playing and on all those things, a lot of my focus was towards uh, games, puzzle games, and all those things. So in a particular way, that how essentially our brain processes information, I was doing that quickly and I was in touch with that. In terms of CAT preparation, what I have believed is, it's not something that is conceptually hard. If you're given the same questions without a time limit, almost 99% of the people can do those questions. It's not a challenge about, it's not a conceptual thing, it's more of a speed based thing. So if you're attempting that and if you're good with speed, that is essentially more of an important thing than knowing everything. Again, CAT as a paper, you probably are not expected to attempt all the questions. So there is the factor that you have to choose the questions. But what my experience said, or even interaction with a lot of people at my MBA college, also give me the impression that it's not very important, or it's not even advised, if my particular opinion is taken into consideration. It's not advised to go through all the questions first, like what we do in other exams. It's more of understanding, seeing the question, and then taking that call then and there in the 1 or 2 seconds once you have read the question. That, do you want to attempt this? Are you very clear about, if you know the question, how to solve it? If you do not know how to solve the question, it's probably not the best idea to attempt it then and there, or trying to figure out how to attempt it. It's more about, skip to the next question, keep that question in the back of your mind if you are able to.
Yes, you can mark the options, right?
You can obviously you can mark it to see later, obviously. And if and go to the next question and attempt that question quickly. Once you have, in one section you have cleared like 50-60% of the questions by yourself, knowing that you know them, you will, one, be more confident of taking on those questions by understanding probably a concept or something in the other place. And then again, with understanding the time limit that you have, if you know the questions that these are the 10 questions that I'm yet to do, it's much more easier to prioritize. Because if you go read the 24 questions at one go, that will take up a lot of your time and wouldn't probably put you much more in time pressure. So one of the approaches that I think most of the people now do agree with, and a lot of people I interacted with agreed as well, it's not where you take a look at the entire paper. It's more about attempting questions on the go and taking that call then and there in the question.
Right. So I mean, do not go for the feature that see all the paper, right? All the section you can. Yeah.
Definitely.
But won't it be helpful in quant section so to see where our favorite questions are there? I mean, favorite topics.
So, for someone who who understands their strengths very well, somebody who's pretty sure that, okay, I'm good with algebra but probably not good with geometry, for them it's better to use that kind of thing. But if you're not, if you're more of topic agnostic, if you are more concentrated towards doing the question and taking that call on the go, my my input would be, do not take that risk there, because quant is something that a lot of people get a lot of questions correct. So missing those questions is difficult. And as well, during my time, quant also had questions where it was not, the options were not, multiple choice questions were not there. So in those questions, it's particularly important that you cannot apply elimination techniques and all that. So you have to know the approach, and hence if you're taking that kind of thing, that I want to see that and judge the question beforehand, if you're not sure about your topic strengths, then probably that is not the advice. But if you're very aware ki okay, no, I want to take geometry in the last, then probably you can go through, check if that is the question from my topic, mark it as do later, and then start the test how you want to take it. Right.
Correct. So the point is that it depends on person to person. So you should build your own strategy
Yes.
for a student, right?
Agreed.
Correct.
So that obviously the practice that you have done, or you how much self awareness you have, that strategy will differ from person to person.
Definitely. And that is how the analysis of the mocks comes into the place. I mean, what problems you have done in the previous mocks, why your scores are not improving, right? All those things that we talked about earlier also. Right. So now we have almost 5 days left for CAT, correct? So the very big question the students mind is कि अब 5 दिन में क्या करना है, हाउ टू डू अबाउट दिस, क्योंकि अब ये तो नहीं कर सकते कि एक पूरा एक नया टॉपिक उठा के देखेंगे, राइट? उसका कोई सेंस बनता नहीं है ना? जितना रिवाइज कर लिया वो कर लिया, बट कैसे 4-5 दिन जो बचे हैं उसके अंदर क्या करना चाहिए, कितने मॉक्स देने चाहिए, कैसे प्रिपरेशन करनी चाहिए, आपने क्या किया था, उसके बेसिस पे यू कैन से, राइट?
Sure. So the first idea is ki you, all of you have like received your admit cards, now know your time and date ki when you have to give, right? So first of all, one, set your body cycle as such ki you are not sleepy, or you are uh, not ready at that point of time. If your paper is at 12 a.m., your body should be in the best possible mode at 12 a.m. Sorry, 12 p.m. at 12 noon. So if that is the case, in that case, you should be well ready by, you should be reaching the center on time. So for these 5 days, if I'm in your in an aspirant's place, what I'll do is, I'll every day at 11:30 I would be in my most steady state, and probably something that you might use right now to is drink a coffee or something, but you should not be putting yourself in that situation where you do not have access to that. So put yourself in a situation which is similar to the exam paper. For working professionals, it might be a challenge that you are not able to take out that time. Still tend to do more active things where your brain is more engaged during that time, and more operational work in the later other half of the day. For students who are there already, who are not working as of now, who are in college, the best possible approach would be, take a mock at that exact point of time. There are so many mocks available. I think Unacademy platform itself has a lot of mocks available. You can simply go on the platform and attempt those mocks. The idea is to take a 2-hour test between 12 to 2 if your timing is 12 to 2. Set your brain into motion every day, that when the clock hits 12, your brain is in peak performance mode. And once that happens, probably it would be, you will be in your best shape on the coming Sunday, right? On the coming Sunday to appear for the exam.
Correct. Now, one question we have from Rahul, I mean, basically, we would be asking this only. Sectional wise tips, I mean, what did you do for VARC और अभी क्या कर सकते हैं, है ना? Same for we can talk about quant and LRDI, right? How to do the selections and all, right? कैसे अभी RC तो देखो जितना कर लिया उतना कर लिया मेरे ख्याल से practice. The only point is कि how to skim, how to select the RCs and the LRDI sets and the quant sections. That will help, I guess, for the students.
Agreed. So in the last 5 days, see, preparation is mostly done. If you are starting preparation now, you are probably too late to the party. But if that is not the case, in that case, you should probably pushing towards doing more and more questions and less of analysis now. Two things will happen. either you will do a lot of analysis and get to the point where you understand more of your strengths and weaknesses. But your strengths are already your strengths, and if you get more aware of your weaknesses, probably it will put you into pressure on exam day. A lot of my friends I saw had the same issue. They were over analyzing things, and they were analyzing till the last day to exam, which is, in my opinion, something you should not be doing. Your analysis has to stop a week or two before your final exam, and post that you should purely be in practice mode. Get out of analytics now, be purely in practice mode, attempt as many questions as you can. As on to coming to like picking up the questions and selecting questions during the exam, again, as said, you cannot go through one section entirely in the starting, right? So if coming to RC or if coming to LRDI particularly, these two have questions where multiple set of questions are there which are interlinked. So for those particular things, probably you can take a look at you have to do that quick reading or that sort of thing. You're reading the bigger terms out of that and getting an idea, okay, am I understanding this from reading 10% of the RC, or am I understanding this from reading 30% of the LRDI question, that what needs to be done or what the question is looking at, asking me. If I'm able to do that in, for example, set A versus set B, if I'm able to do that in set A better, and if I know my time constraints are there, then I can take set A. If you are not so sure and if you're not willing to take that call, attempt both. Take as and when they come, and don't waste those 10 to 15 seconds in deciding. But if you are clear about that, in that case you should definitely be taking that call by reading 10 or 10-20% of the question and understanding what you can get out of that.
Correct. Right. So another question we have is, have you scored this much percentile in mocks? I mean, what was your percentile in mocks, whatever you're taking, and will it improve, और उसका क्या effect पड़ता कैट के ऊपर score पे?
Agreed. So during my time, there were not a lot of online mocks as such. There were limited number, and I hadn't taken any paid course at that point of time because I was a working professional. So I did not get the lot of time to approach that. However, I did gave a couple of mocks where some All India scores were released. But then again, you have to take into context how many people did appear for the mock, right? CAT during my time, almost 2 lakh people appeared. I'm not. It doesn't change a lot. Even when I read about the exam back then, it was a similar trend. So almost greater than 2 lakh people appear for it. And for most mocks, the strength that I saw was close to 10,000, 15,000. So if you're doing good in mocks, you're doing good. But if you're not doing good in mocks, that is not a fair representation of the entire system or the entire student base that you would be competing against. So if you're doing good, keep giving those mocks. If you're not doing good, don't be disheartened by it. One, it could be a bad day. Second, it's not. Is the entire sample an actual representation of the population that would be giving? It's not a absolute paper. It's a relative marking, right? So in case of relative marking, you need to understand the entire diaspora that is giving the paper and then judge yourself. If the sample is not relevant, is not an equal representation of the population, that is not the right inference to get out of it. So if you're not having a good mocks, if you do not have good mock scores, that doesn't mean that you should not go on the test day and not appear for it. Don't be disheartened by it is what I would say, particularly because sometimes that particular 2 or 3 questions may luck can also help you out. A lot of people are lucky. Sometimes you get lucky. For particularly like I also consider myself very lucky. As to the point that I took a मतलब मैंने भी यार मैथ वाले क्वांट वाले सेक्शन में एक जो नंबर वाला क्वेश्चन होता है, I not exactly remember the terminology, but where there, हाँ नंबर सिस्टम जो उस तरह के क्वेश्चन होता है जिसमें we have to input the number as an answer. हाँ, तो मैंने वहाँ पे भी तुक्का मारा था एक, which got correct in the end. So which was surprisingly matlab difficult is very very difficult, but sometimes does happen for you, and those probably 3 4 marks change a lot of uh, percentile at the back end of the at anywhere that would help you. It won't cost you anything, so that is always there, and you should be ready to take that. You should be willing to take luck into a chance that it can work for you. It's not always that luck is against you. As much as we tend to believe that I am not lucky and luck is always against me, be confident on that day that it somewhere it has to balance, and that day would be your day.
डेफिनेटली वो वैसे भी ये बोलते हैं ना कि टीटा के अंदर तो आंसर्स मार्क कर देने चाहिए क्योंकि कुछ जा तो रहा नहीं है उसका.
हाँ, agreed. So
Negative
that is
value.
again one of the points that is coming to.
करेक्ट. टिप्स फॉर डीआई. ओके, मतलब डीआई में अब क्या करोगे? प्रिपरेशन का टिप्स तो नहीं चाहिए ना. सिलेक्शन की बात हमने ऑलरेडी कर ली, करेक्ट?
Yes. One thing that helped me very much was decimal to fraction का conversion या fraction to decimal. That 1/8 is 0.125 or 1/16 is 0.0625. If you remember those, that also helps because sometimes the questions are framed that way, that which is the closest ratio or which is the closest number to these. That can help, but at this point of time, I don't think that it matters a lot. The only thing that can probably help you or probably do better now is do a lot of multiplication and division as much as you can. Obviously not compromising on the other parts and other questions, but back of your mind be very clear with your calculations, multiplication tables, divisions. If those are clear, that help you in DILR in processing information as well. And once you gain those 15-20 seconds ka edge there, that you can apply in interpretation of the data and not calculation of the data.
करेक्ट. और इवन आई मीन ऑन स्क्रीन कैलकुलेटर अलाउड होता है सब कुछ, लेकिन वो इफेक्टिवली उन कैलकुलेशन में यूज़ करना चाहिए जहाँ पर मतलब विच आर नॉट सो ईजी, राइट? सो आई मीन अगर मैं 1/8 या ऐसा कुछ के लिए भी वो यूज़ कर रहा हूँ तो आई एम वेस्टिंग माई टाइम, बिकॉज वहाँ पे जाके क्लिक करोगे, इट्स नॉट अ टाइप बोर्ड, राइट? कीबोर्ड तो यूज़ नहीं करोगे आप. सो आप माउस लेके जाते हो वहाँ पे, वो टाइम लगता है इसको सॉल्व करने पर. तो जितना उसको अवॉइड कर सके उतना बेटर है फॉर द ईजी कैलकुलेशन एटलीस्ट. प्लीज सर, व्हाट इज़ इन हैंड सैलरी आफ्टर IIM एंड हाउ मच मिनिमम टाइम डू यू नीड फॉर कैट प्रिपरेशन? सैलरी की बात तो बाद में कर लेंगे किशन, पहले सिलेक्शन हो जाए. है ना? मिनिमम टाइम का कुछ आई डोंट थिंक इसमें कुछ होता है, राइट? इट डिपेंड्स ऑन पर्सन टू पर्सन, करेक्ट? आई मीन अ पर्सन माइट बी देयर दैट जो 2 months में शायद या 3 months में प्रिपेयर करके कर ले, राइट? बट और कुछ शायद ऐसे भी होते हैं जिनका 1 year में भी नहीं हो पाता है, तो वो एक अलग बात हो जाती है, राइट? आपका इसमें क्या टेक है?
इट हैज़ मतलब ये आपको अपने आप से ही पता पड़ सकता है कि आपका सही टाइम क्या है. आई हैव सीन पीपल, आई हैव मेट पीपल जो दे डिडंट प्रिपेयर एट ऑल. वो सुबह उठ के सिर्फ काट देने चले गए एंड दे हैव स्कोर क्रेजीली गुड. तो ऐसा है, अगर हमें ऐसा लग रहा है कि यार प्रेप नहीं है इसलिए नहीं जा रहे हैं, ऑनेस्टली डजंट मेक अ सेंस. मतलब मैं उससे अलाइन नहीं करता पर्सनली, बिकॉज आपने एग्ज़ाम की फ़ीस तो भर दी है, तो वो पैसा तो लग ही गया है. एग्ज़ाम की फ़ीस भरती है तो देने जाने में कुछ कॉस्ट कितनी है, ट्रैवल कॉस्ट है ना, मैक्स टू मैक्स. द रिस्क इज़ दैट एंड द अपसाइड इज़ सो मच. जो आप उसके लिए खो रहे हो, वो मौका अगर आपका जा रहा है. कैट इज़ नॉट एन एग्ज़ाम, सम अदर एग्ज़ाम वेयर योर अटेम्प्ट्स आर लिमिटेड, राइट? तो अगर आप वैसे ये सोच के नहीं दे रहे हो तो इट डजंट मेक सेंस. तो इन दी एंड द आइडिया इज़ कि अगर आपने भर दिया है तो चले जाओ देने. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ख़राब आएंगे, वो तो वैसे भी आ ही रहे हैं, बट द अपसाइड ऑलवेज इज़ दैट यू गेट अ कपल ऑफ क्वेश्चंस लकी, द पेपर टर्न्स आउट गुड फॉर यू. एंड अगर वैसा रहता है तो आपके लिए हमेशा अच्छा रहेगा कि हम चले गए थे उस दिन. यू विल नेवर रिग्रेट, बट यू विल, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू विल सी पीपल who just went and gave CAT and did very good. They did not take a lot of, probably they did not take a lot of mocks and still did good. They did not prepare. उन्होंने कोई 50,000 क्वेश्चन नहीं लगाए बैठ के, बट उन्होंने अच्छा किया. क्यों? क्योंकि वो उस दिन चले गए और they were probably what do I say, बस उनका दिन था. तो वो होता है और वो आपका भी दिन हो सकता है। तो ये सोच के नहीं जाना कि यार मेरी प्रेप शायद कम हुई है या मुझे कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है, दैट इज़ समथिंग यू शुड नॉट डू इन माई ओपिनियन। जाओ, अगर तुम्हारी प्रेप नहीं है तो खुद से एक्सपेक्टेशन भी कम है, राइट? अगर एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं है तो फिर तो और भी जाके देना चाहिए। यू आर प्रॉब्ली, इफ़ यू आर in a better state of mind, if you're not expecting that much from yourself, for exams like this, it's you have to be very, I would say, थोड़ा सा आपको इमोशनली फ्री होना पड़ेगा उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे, पेपर के टाइम। तो क्योंकि यहाँ पे आप अपने इमोशंस को प्रोसेस करने का टाइम नहीं है यहाँ पे। अगर आपको वो टाइम आपने वहाँ आप ये लग गई कि यार अगर मेरा नहीं हुआ या वो सारी चीज़ें हुआ नहीं हुआ क्या होगा, दोज आर नॉट, कैट इज़ नॉट अ पेपर जहाँ पे आप ये सोच सको। इट इज़ नॉट अ सब्जेक्टिव पेपर, इट्स नॉट अ कॉन्सेप्चुअल पेपर। IIT JEE, आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि क्योंकि कैट है तो बहुत सारे इंजीनियर्स दे रहे होंगे, उन्होंने IIT JEE या हमारे टाइम पे तो IIT JEE ट्रिपल ही होता था। आई थिंक अब IIT JEE एडवांस्ड और कुछ होता है, मेंस एंड एडवांस होता है। तो उसमें भी आप लोग समझेंगे कि बहुत सारे कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्वेश्चंस आते हैं। कैट इज़ नॉट दैट पेपर। आप जाइए, क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट करिए और बाकी सब चीज़ों को हॉल के बाहर छोड़िए। होगा नहीं होगा, प्रिपरेशन कैसी है, ऑल दोज थिंग्स वोंट मैटर एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम।
बिल्कुल सही बात है, टेंशन नहीं लेने का है ना। ओके, फ्रॉम विच कॉलेज यू पास आउट? फॉर MBA IIM Kozhikode, फॉर ग्रेजुएशन
बिट्स पिलानी
बिट्स पिलानी।
2016
Okay.
batch.
Which IIM calls and interviews you have apart from Kozhikode?
Yes. So इसके लिए now you have to understand कि all IIMs have different criteria, selection criteria. They will post your CAT score. They will also give you multiple scores on other metrics. 10th, 12th college are important. As much as we tend to believe कि शायद नहीं होंगे, तब हमें लगता था, लेकिन retrospectively I have also understood one thing because my college marks were very poor. मतलब मैं 6 pointer था कॉलेज में, तो a lot of challenge came from there. In terms of calls, I got a call from C because Calcutta has a CAT पे heavy focus होता है उनका CAT score पे. Lucknow in my year gave out a detailed calculation score. I actually missed Lucknow call by the second decimal in their calculation. Baki I had calls from K and all the other younger IIMs.
Okay.
So I missed A, B and Indore and Lucknow.
Okay, one last question I guess अभी तक के लिए. What did you do for VARC in the last 5 days? I mean, what to do for VARC in last 5 days? Reading essays or previous year questions?
If you have not attempted previous year questions, that is the better way to go in my opinion, क्योंकि वो आपको स्ट्रक्चर में हेल्प करते हैं। एसेज और अगर आप वैसे इंडिविजुअल क्वेश्चंस अगर कर रहे हो तो शायद मतलब आउट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन पेपर लास्ट 5 days में it's not the point time to go back to concepts as such. It's time about learning to save those extra 2 seconds per question. So if you have that understanding of the structure, that is better for you. और अगर आपने if you haven't prepared that extensively तो शायद आपने नहीं दिया होगा, तो आप प्रीवियस ईयर के क्वेश्चंस कर सकते हैं. यू शुड बी डूइंग दोज प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस. इफ़ यू हैव ऑलरेडी अटेम्प्टेड दैट, इफ़ यू हैव सीन दोज, आई वुड रिकमेंड कि मत करो, क्योंकि देन आपके बायसेस आ जाएंगे बीच में. तो नए सेट ऑफ फ्रेश क्वेश्चंस करिए, बट ट्राई टू गिव एज मेनी क्वेश्चंस विच आर इन लाइन विद द फॉर्मेट ऑफ द पेपर, एक्चुअल पेपर.
All right, good. So I think we have talked about almost everything about the last minute strategy and tips, right? If there are any other question left, we are happy to take it. Okay, I think we are done. All right, thank you very much, Shubham. Thank you all. All the best, everyone, for the D-Day, right? Do your best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Best of luck to all the students that are appearing.
Correct.